So we already know we're in a recession already, right? Because we've already talked about that, all right? We've seen the indicators, and honestly, at this point, we think a recession is like so 2008. Let's talk about recession versus depression, okay? Specifically, what factors would lead to which kind of route that we take, and why there's one thing that will happen that will honestly make all of that irrelevant, okay? So please make sure you stick around for all that and more. It's Crystal with the Cash Compass. All right, welcome back. I am here to teach you all the things that you should have learned in school about money, but for whatever reason, they forgot to mention it. Please be sure to subscribe because we talk about everything from personal finance to investing to the economy. Let's get into it. All right, so I went into great detail about what a recession is and went over GDP, so I don't want to bore you guys in this video. If you haven't saw that video, definitely watch that. Maybe watch it first, but you can stay here if you want to. But basically, a recession is, 2 quarters of negative growth, okay? So what's a depression? Okay, so while recessions are marked by really just 2 quarters of negative growth, depressions can last for years, okay? And it's negative growth, it's high unemployment, it's low inflation because people are not spending. And if you're not spending, there's no velocity of money. The money ain't, moving through the market. So there's that. Low productivity, and it's what the name says. It's depressing. I've never been through one, but that's what I've heard or read. So let's go over some stats for the US that'll kind of let us get more information about what's going on in our economy. And honestly, this is a global thing. I know I talk about the US a lot because I'm based in the US, but I think this has the potential to be a global depression. Obviously, the pandemic was a global issue and there was underlying issues way before this. Do not let them manipulate you into believing that it was just the virus, because things have been going on way before this. But at any rate, let's discuss unemployment first. We now have over 30 million people unemployed. Mind you, this number at one point was in the 40 million range, but people, as the economy has been opening back up, people have been able to go back to their jobs. But even the 30 million number is way worse than the Great Depression numbers. And obviously the Great Depression didn't really have like a global shutdown. So it's not really an apples to apples comparison, but the number in and of itself is still a remarkable number. And although people are getting their jobs back, there have been estimates saying that somewhere near 40% of people will actually not get their jobs back. Now, I hope that is a gross overstatement because that would be catastrophic. All the jobs that we have gotten since 2010, which was about 22 million, have vanished in the matter of a couple of months, okay? So what took 10 years to build just got completely annihilated in a couple of months. And like I said, people might get their jobs back, but they might not. As you guys can see, because I know people have pretty much opened up all around the country, I've been out there, okay? It's still ghetto. There's still not people out. Everything is just kind of like an eerie feeling almost. My mall is not 100% open. There's still some stores that are completely blacked out. So we're not there yet, okay? It still feels a little bit weird. And you have to remember that the payment protection program actually keeps people's jobs secure for 8 weeks, okay? And that time is running out. So what that basically means is that some of these companies, if they took that bailout money, right, because it's supposed to be a loan, but it can be forgiven. So let's just call it some bailout money. If they took that bailout money, one of the stipulations was you cannot fire anybody. You have to have the same amount of full-time employees for 8 weeks. Well, once that time runs out, what do you guys think will happen? I hope those people still keep their jobs, but the reality is they may not, because most people are opening up at a 50% capacity. They probably need half of the staff that they had before. This story is still developing, but basically unemployment, it's not looking the best, especially if we have another wave. If we have another wave, wave goodbye to the economy. Now, mind you, I want to show you guys a video of Kentucky. Now, this line looks like it's the line for the Kentucky Derby, honey, but it's not, okay? It's the unemployment line. This line is for people who have not yet gotten their unemployment money, okay, since March. And I think they said it was something like 50,000 people, okay? And that's just in Kentucky. Like, not to be rude, but I didn't even know that many people lived in Kentucky. And I can imagine it's the same story in states across the nation. And, the other day that I was actually watching the news, they were saying, oh, we created 2 million jobs. No, you didn't. How can you call somebody getting their job back a creation of a job, right? Because if I made myself a cake and I said, you know what, I'm going to hide this cake from myself, And if I just bring it back up, did I have 2 cakes? No, okay? I wish that's how it worked, but it does not work that way. These are not new jobs they created. These are people getting back their jobs. And they could have been getting their jobs back at a lower pay or less hours. I mean, we can't call this just organic job creation because it's not that. Now let's talk about production, okay? And that has actually been going up and down and everywhere since 2019. So way before all this craziness happened, there was a lot of, weird things going on. The Chicago PMI, and I don't want to get too deep into details, but basically that kind of tracks manufacturing, and that was kind of jumping in and out of the recession kind of territory for the longest. And why is that? Because people have been spending less. The money velocity, which is kind of measuring how fast the money flows through the economy, has been going down for literally years, okay? People are not spending the way they used to. Not because they're saving more, because we really don't have astronomically higher savings rates either. Although I will say the savings rate actually did spike, but that's because people couldn't go anywhere, okay? Not because they wanted to save more, it was because they literally could not spend the money. So it's less production going on because there's less of a demand, because people aren't really exchanging money as quickly as we used to, okay? And while I'm talking about spending, we did actually see an uptick in spending, right? But that's because things are opening up right now. So of course, there's a lot of pent up buying power that people really wanted to use. I don't know about you guys, but there was a lot of things that I just couldn't wait to do and just couldn't wait to kind of spend money on, just because I haven't really been able to go out and just have a normal life, really. But in order for people to spend more, they have to feel confident. So if we're having another wave, if there's going to be more social unrest, if there's going to be still a lot more uncertainty, I don't know that we'll see spending pick up the way that it was pre-crisis. Now, the one thing that can make all of these things absolutely irrelevant is government intervention. Don't we love the government and the Federal Reserve? They could just come in and, pull some strings, throw some money here and there, and boom. What recession? What depression? Well, I don't even know what those words mean. If the government gives more stimulus in the form of more rent deferments, more mortgage moratoriums, more student loan forbearance, you get the point. If they keep on giving out more of these kind of stimulus, and maybe another stimulus package, maybe extension of unemployment benefits, you guys get the drift, okay? If they start doing more of that, then I definitely can see a boost in consumer confidence. Because think about it. If you know, I'm gonna get another $1,200 check, or maybe I'll get $2,000 check, you'll feel kind of nice. You'll maybe spend some more, maybe you'll save more, but most people in America would spend more of that money, especially with things opening up right now. They'll definitely spend that money. And if they keep on pumping liquidity into the stock market, which I'm going to have a updated stock market video coming up on Friday, so please be sure you are subscribed, because I will be going into details about the stock market update. But basically, all that they're doing right now is keeping those prices up, okay? They're keeping the stock market looking nice and healthy. They're keeping real estate prices up because all this money is just going into those asset prices. When they create money, it has to go somewhere. And as of right now, it's going directly into the stock market, okay? The Federal Reserve says they can't buy stocks directly, but look at the correlation, okay? They're doing it in a roundabout way. So if they keep on doing this and people see their 401ks and they're like, okay, well, I can still retire with good money, or okay, I'm going to be getting a stimulus check, or okay, they're cutting my payroll taxes. That will definitely keep people feeling nice, and it will give this kind of sense that everything is okay. Some people will argue that that is exactly what's going on right now, right? That we have been in a recession since 2008, but because there's been so much government intervention, we don't really feel it. And also they have, creative rounding, and they cherry pick their numbers. So you can actually make the economy look better than it really is. And if you are in your own bubble thinking that everything is fine, then you might not really be able to see everything else is going on in the background. So what do I think? Do I think that we are in a recession or depression or whatever? I think whatever we are in, the Federal Reserve is trying to convince us we are not in at all, okay? The Federal Reserve and the government, they're trying to give that confidence back to us. So will we ever get completely accurate numbers? No. Even the unemployment number that they float around, they tell you it's not the real unemployment number. It's what they want to calculate as the unemployment number. And then they have the actual unemployment number, tossed around to the side. No one even talks about that. So I don't think that, at least in the short term that there'll be any admissions of like, okay, this is more like a depression. But I can see this going on for a long time because a lot of businesses have been affected, and because we are still not open in the right kind of way yet, people are still going to be suffering losses, okay? Not a lot of businesses can operate with 50% capacity, okay? A lot of businesses were already strapped for cash, were already drowning in debt before this happened. So then you take 2 months away from their income, and when they get their income back, it's only half that. I don't know. That's not really a good thing. Obviously, some people are well prepared and they do have savings, and businesses, they do have like a savings account, but not most people. Most people and most businesses, they don't manage their company that way, unfortunately. But to me, if we have to give people $1,200 checks, and if we're giving people $2,400 a month in unemployment benefits, and if we're doing all this stimulus, we are already in some sort of issue, okay? The fact that the Federal Reserve has to come in and keep on buying up corporate bonds, buying up junk debt because there's no other buyers for it, I mean, to me, that is a sign of extreme issues, So all we can keep doing is, keep a watchful eye. Keep on looking, of course, keep on watching my videos because I will keep you guys updated all the time. And then just prepare in the best way that we can, either way, right? Because we gonna make it. Ultimately, we'll be the last to the party, right? They won't really make that outward announcement to the general public until we have already been deep in it. So, shout out to you for actually looking for alternative information and not just looking at the media. It's always good to have a different perspective. Think about that and see whatever resonates with you, okay? And yeah, that's all I got. If you like this video, then please like this video and share with your friends and subscribe. And if you have anything else going on, you know what to do. Go ahead and binge watch me. And until next time, keep your money up.